Hello, my fellow Squeezo strainers. I'm Mr. Church. Today I'm going to be looking at the Spooky Night Inside bundle in the Atom Shop, as well as the Halloween Weather Machine, which is sold separately. What's inside the bundle are 6 new items right here, and as well as this Cultist Bed, which is a pretty old item, actually. But if you already own that item, the price of the bundle is only 1,200 atoms. Altogether, these 6 new items by themselves is 2,000 atoms. So you can decide if you want to get the whole bundle or if you want to pick and choose items from this. The first item is this Ghost Scarecrow. This is what the front of it looks like, and as you can see, it's actually pretty cute. There's a lot of good detail here. There's the rope around the neck. Don't say anything about it being relatable, please. Thank you. And this nice blood splatter. This is the back of it as well. Destroyed, it doesn't have any special texture. It just disappears and turns that weird yellow color. But I think these are pretty cool. These don't actually function as scarecrows. It used to be that the scarecrows in the game would actually attract creatures towards them, and they would destroy those before destroying your other stuff. That they stopped working a long time ago. These do not function as the scarecrows in the game that we have already. We also have this plushie, and I usually don't like the thousands of Mr. Fuzzy plushies that we have. I usually think they're kind of ugly, to be completely honest. But I think that this one actually is very cute. I think it looks great. And I am not regretting getting this at all. While you try to figure out if what I just said was sarcasm, I just want to mention that I did just make a video going over the best build system and pointing out some of the issues that I see with it. Make sure you check that video out if you haven't already. Let me know if you agree with me or if you think I'm full of shit. If you could do that, I would really appreciate it. I'm going to link that in the description, and I'll also make a pinned comment below to look at. Click on it and stop watching this video and go watch that one. Goodbye. For those of you that disobeyed me, we are now going to look at the Game Collector. Now, you can only build one of these because it's a collectron of sorts, and it collects games, board games, if you will. I think it looks really awesome. This is honestly my favorite thing out of the bundle. It is the most expensive thing at 700 atoms, but I think it's worth it. I don't really care about the games that it collects. I don't like board games, especially when it's Catch the Commie and you have to play it with your uncle and he thinks you actually are one just because you have long hair. That's fine. But the back of it looks awesome. It's got this really cool texture on it that could be used for different things as well. And I like the detail that there's like this dirt or black mold around the bottom of it. If you think about where a game's cupboard would be, they're usually in the basement where you would see a lot of mildew. So I think this is a lot of really good detail in this item. Whoever made this item was cooking, and I love it. Moving on to the next item, which is this wall sign. I think it's pretty meh. I wouldn't have bought this if it was just its own thing, probably. But I'm sure some of you will find use for it. This is what the back of it looks like. It kind of could be some kind of chalkboard or something. I will mention that I tried putting the chalkboard letters on it and they didn't like to do that. I'm sure there's a way to do that without going behind it, but I didn't want to mess with it too much. If you want to know how I put a sign on backwards, it's pretty simple, and you can do this with any wall item. Simply put it on the front of something and then put a floor item of any kind behind it and blueprint those 2 items together. I use this cockroach for it. And then if you push it up against a wall, it'll slap on backwards. And again, you can do this with any wall item. So I do like to look at the backs of wall decor items because sometimes you can use those and they look pretty good. Speaking of the Rad Roach, I really, honestly, when I saw this in the Atom Shop, for some reason thought in my mind that this was going to be like something you built one of and it would like move around and walk and stuff. I don't know if my hopes were too high. Either way, it's really cool. I like it. I actually have a build that this goes perfectly in. It's this nasty old apartment, which I also have a build video for if you want to check out. I'm going to link that as well. Speaking of roaches, I do have a Patreon, and I do upload some exclusive content there for paid members, but I also have some stuff, including a video that I just uploaded looking over a Patreon's camp and giving some feedback. I have some content like that for free for followers. So if you're interested in that, the link for my Patreon will be in the description. This next item is a very old Atom Shop item. I probably had this back in like 2019 or so, but it's this Cultist Bed. I think it's a really cool design. I'm glad they brought it back, and if you already own it, it does make the overall bundle a lot cheaper, so it's really great for everybody. And if you don't have this already, it's a really cool design, really cool for like treehouse builds and stuff like that as well. Now, there had to be something broken in the bundle, because why would they give us unbroken Atom Shop items for us to purchase with our real hard-earned money? So the Jacko lights I think are pretty cool, but as you can see, this one in the middle is bugged out. There is a flame flickering inside it, and it does emit light, but inside it there's no glow like the other two have. So obviously this is some kind of bug. I also tried going into a new server and seeing if that would help or change anything, and it remained bugged out just the same. So this is just always like this, and I'm sure they're going to fix it because this is what the back of them looks like, though, if you are interested in using them as the items that they were built out of, which is probably what I'm going to use them for primarily, if I'm being honest, like this gas canister and the propane tank. But you know, that you're going to have to hide the glow coming from them, except for the one that doesn't have the glow coming from it. Now, let's turn on the Halloween weather and see how it looks. So, I don't usually buy weather machines. I like the clear, happy skies to combat the seasonal depression, which is bringing us all down. It's not just that, it's also... But I like this one a lot. You know, usually I also feel that the weather machines are too expensive, but they used to sell them for 2,000 atoms, and I feel that they've made a reasonable change, and they are now worth 1,200 atoms, which is still pretty pricey. But this one, I think, is worth those atoms. In my opinion, this is a really good weather. It has this cool aqua blue sky, but then it warms the ground with like this warm orangey glow. I think it looks really cool, and I'm in the ash heap right now, but as you can see, it also affects the skies in the mire, and this is what it looks like in the cranberry bog, and this is what it looks like in the forest region, but I think it looks really cool. There's obviously a difference. This is during the daytime. When it's at night or near sunset, there's a lot more orangey to it because the sun is like turned into that oranginess, whereas the normal sky is this blue and all the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. And anyway, that's fine. So my final thoughts on this overall bundle and the weather machine is I don't have any regrets getting the bundle. Sometimes I do, I gotta be honest with you, but this one, I really like the Ghost Scarecrow especially. I love the game collector, absolutely love it. I could take or leave the wall sign, don't give a fuck about that, to be honest, but I like the Rad Roach, kind of nice. The Jacko lights are broken, and so those are kind of a bust. Hopefully they fix that shit, but if that's a game breaker for you, then don't buy them, because they're broken. And knowing Bethesda, they probably won't fix them. So I wouldn't bother with those if you're into it for the lighting and stuff, because they're not functioning. But the Halloween weather, I really like. If you're someone that doesn't really buy every single weather that comes out, but you like some of them, this one might be one you might consider, because it is a lot different than the existing weather that we have, and a lot of the different weather machines we have are kind of similar to each other, but this one feels pretty unique in my opinion. So overall, I would give this week's Atom Shop rating side eye with like, you know how you're like it's like the stink face, but not quite. You take the edge off because like even though you've hurt me, like I still appreciate you. You know, you're trying your best. Not really. Anyway, I don't know what any of that meant, so it doesn't mean anything to me, it doesn't mean anything to you. We can move on. But I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to my patrons and channel members for your support. I really do appreciate it. means a lot to me, and it really helps me to be able to make these videos that you guys can sit back, relax, and be like, what the fuck is he talking about? If you're interested in joining me in that way, the link for that is in the description. And if you guys like this video, then actually like it with a little button. Thank you, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video.